Good morning, children, and welcome to yet another session of Sunday School. So, children, today we are going to learn about the nature miracles of Jesus. So, here is the story of a young boy of your age. So, let's begin this session.
This happened many years ago in America. His name was John and he was 9 years old. John was fascinated by what he saw older boys doing, and one day John watched some older kids play with fire. They would light a small fire on the ground, then they would go back a couple of feet and then throw a little gasoline on the fire to watch it explode. This was stuck in John's mind, and he decided to give it a try himself. One day, while his parents were away, John went into the garage and lit a small piece of cardboard on fire. Now there was a can of gasoline in the garage. So John picked up the whole can, and since it was heavy, he held it to his chest. Now what John didn't know was that if he opened the lid, the gas fumes were enough to catch fire. So as soon as he went close to the fire, the invisible vapors or the gas fumes ignited, and the can of gasoline that John was holding to his chest exploded, covering the boy with fire and gasoline, and threw him 15 feet across the room. John was still conscious and on fire. He ran out of the garage door to his family room screaming. His 17-year-old brother did all he could to rescue John. Finally, when the flames were down, his brother wrapped John and immediately rushed him to the hospital. John had suffered 100% burns. He lay in the hospital fighting for his life. So here he was, a 9-year-old, fighting for his life, tied down to his bed, unable to speak, and in total darkness. Now John had grown up listening to baseball games on the radio every night, and there was one voice that he used to hear that was deeply implanted in his mind, and that voice was that of a famous announcer named Jack. Now as John lay in the hospital bed, terrified, he hears this voice. John, John, wake up. You are going to live. You got that? You are going to survive. And when you get out of here, we are going to celebrate. Are you listening, kid? That was the voice of Jack. The same voice that he used to hear on the radio every night. Jack had visited John in the hospital. Jack asked the nurse whether John would live, and the nurse said there is absolutely no chance that John will live. Jack went home and cried a lot and prayed for John. And finally he asked himself this question: what can I do for John? What more can I do for John? The next day, Jack again went to meet John in the hospital, saying, "Hey kid, wake up. Good morning. I'm back. You are going to live. You're listening? You will survive. Keep fighting. We have to celebrate." Jack visited the hospital every single day and inspired John to fight on. Days turned into weeks and weeks turned into months. Finally, John was released from the hospital. There was a grand celebration. But that was not it. John still had to undergo a lot of other treatment. He had lost his fingers. He had to undergo many therapies to get back to normal. Jack was always at the side of John and kept asking himself, "What more can I do for John?" Jack was John's mentor, encouraging him throughout the challenging journey. They shared a special relationship. It was the unbelievable power of one man, that is Jack, to change John's life by daring to ask, "What more can I do?" Isn't this a miracle? A miracle of love, a miracle of sharing, a miracle of concern. Jack shared his time and life with John. Now, Jesus too worked miracles to show his love, to show God's love for the people, God's concern for you and me, to save us from our sins. Jesus too thought, "What more can I do for my people to show my love and my Father's love for the people? What more can I do?" Today we will see how Jesus used his nature miracles to reach out to his friends, the apostles, to strengthen their relationship with him. Let's watch this video on the nature miracle of the stilling of the storm.
Jesus and his disciples got into a boat. They wanted to cross the sea. Jesus took a nap. The waves gently rocked the boat back and forth. Suddenly, a great storm came up. Waves splashed over the boat. Winds whipped around the disciples. They woke Jesus up and shouted,
"The boat is sinking. Don't you care?"
Jesus asked.
"Why are you so afraid? Don't you have any faith at all?"
Then Jesus told the storm to stop. Right away, it was calm. The disciples were amazed. They said to each other,
"Who is this man, Jesus? Even the wind and the waves obey him."
So, children, who obeyed Jesus? It was the wind and the sea that obeyed Jesus. Children, as you sail through life, you may face some storms, not the kind of storm of today's lesson. Perhaps you may make a wrong decision, or you may fall into bad company. When you face these problems on the sea of life, who do you want to have in the boat with you? I definitely want Jesus. Now let's watch another nature miracle, the wonderful catch of fish.
Push the boat out further to the deep water. Then you and your partners let down your nets for a catch.
Oh, Master, we worked hard all night long and caught nothing. But if you say so, I'll let down the nets. James! John! James, John! Get your boat over and give us some help! We can't. Hurry! Our hands full.
Work on the far end of the net. You don't overload this side. That's enough. That's enough.
Go away from me, Lord. I am a sinful man.
Don't be afraid. From now on, you will be catching men.
So, children, are there times in your life where you have tried and tried but not succeeded? Probably your maths problems, your football practice, your piano practice, and you feel your efforts are in vain. Just as Jesus helped the apostles to get a good catch of fish, He will help you out too. You only have to ask Him. Jesus also wants you and me to tell our friends about Him so that they know Him. That is what Jesus meant when He told His apostles, henceforth you will be catching men. Now let's watch a video on the third miracle, the third nature miracle, which is also the Word of God for today.
The time for the Passover festival was near. Jesus looked around and saw that a large crowd was coming to Him.
Where can we buy enough food to feed all these people?
He said this to test Philip. Actually, he already knew what he would do.
For everyone to have even a little, it would take more than 200 silver coins to buy enough bread.
Another one of his disciples, Andrew, who was Simon Peter's brother, said,
"There is a boy here who has 5 loaves of barley bread and 2 fish. But they will certainly not be enough for all these people."
Make the people sit down.
There was a lot of grass there, so all the people sat down. There were about 5,000 men. Jesus took the bread, gave thanks to God, and distributed to the people who were sitting there. He did the same with the fish. And they all had as much as they wanted. When they were all full, he said to his disciples,
Gather the pieces left over. Let us not waste a bit.
So they gathered them all and filled 12 baskets with the pieces left over from the 5 barley loaves which the people had eaten. Seeing this miracle that Jesus had performed, the people there said, "Surely this is the prophet who was to come into the world."
Children, what ritual did Jesus perform over the loaves and fishes? He looked up to heaven. He blessed and broke the loaves and gave them to his disciples to be distributed. Does this blessing over bread and breaking it remind you of a similar action done daily at Mass? We will now hear the Word of God. Close your eyes, children. A reading from the Gospel according to St. Mark, chapter 6, verses 38 to 42. And he said to them, "How many loaves have you? Go and see." When they had found out, they said, 5 and 2 fish. Then he ordered them to get all the people to sit down in groups on the green grass. So they sat down in groups of hundreds and of 50s. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, he looked up to heaven and blessed and broke the loaves and gave them to his disciples to set before the people. And he divided the 2 fish among them all. And all ate and were filled. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. What do we learn from this gospel? We learn that when we give what we have to God, He can take it, bless it, and do more than we could ever imagine. Even though we may not have very much, little becomes a lot more when it is placed in God's hands. This sharing of loaves and fish is a sign of a much greater sharing, isn't it? Sharing of Jesus' body and blood to get new strength and new life. Let us pray, children. Jesus, just as you used the lunch of a small boy to feed more than 5,000 people, we pray that you will use us to bless everyone we meet. Help me to share what I have. Thank you, Jesus, that nothing we bring is ever too small for you to use. Amen. You may open your eyes, children. So, children, Jesus is a God of miracles. By the nature miracles of Jesus, we experience Jesus as a real, living friend and companion in life, helping us in our journey of life and showing the Father's unconditional love for us. Children, just as Jesus worked miracles in our lives, He wants to use you as instruments to work miracles in other people's lives, as sign of God's love for them. What can you do for your family and friends? Are you ready to be a miracle to others?
A little boy of 13 was on his way to school. He heard a crowd of people laughing and he went to take a look. Thousands were listening to the stories of one man. He spoke with such wisdom, even the kids could understand. The hours passed so quickly, the day turned into night. Everyone was hungry, but there was no food in sight. The boy looked in his lunchbox at the little that he had. He wasn't sure what good it'd do. There were thousands to be fed, but he saw the twinkling eyes of Jesus, the kindness in his smile, and the boy cried out with the trust of a child. He said, "Take my 5 loaves and 2 fishes, do with it as you will. I surrender. Take my fears, my inhibitions, all my burdens, my ambitions. You can use it all to feed them all." I often think about that boy when I'm feeling small, and I worry that the work I do means nothing at all. That every single tear I cry is a diamond in his hand. And every door that slams in my face I will offer up in prayer. So I'll give you every breath that I have. Oh Lord, you can work miracles. All you need is my amen. So take my 5 loaves and 2 fishes, do with it as you will. I surrender. Take my fears, my inhibitions, all my burdens, my ambitions. You can use it all. I hope it's not too small. I trust in you. I trust in you. So take my 5 loaves and 2 fishes, do with it as you will. I surrender. Take my fears, my inhibitions, all my burdens, my ambitions. You can use it all. No gift is too small.
Activity time. Answer the following questions. 1. Name the 3 nature miracles we learnt in our lesson today. 2. Which miracle did you like the most and why? 3. How can you be a miracle to your family?
So children, we come to the end of this session. Hope you enjoyed the session. Complete your activity on time. Have a lovely Sunday and a blessed week ahead. Stay safe, children. Bye.